So we're going to be looking at this 4th and 2 conversion from early on in the Stanford game. This was one of my favorite plays from this game. It's a really good look at the processing development of C.J. Bailey as a freshman quarterback. This is going to end up being a concept that State has ran a lot this year, and he has read it out rather poorly at times early on, but he's gotten better, and this was certainly a pretty good iteration of this. So first things first, let's look at the pre-snap alignment. So you got kind of this condensed trips for State, 3 to the field, 1 to the boundary, and Stanford is in, one high, middle of the field, closed look here. And so this is going to start with this motion from KC, and this is going to give CJ Bailey a clue as to what he's looking at. All right, so when the motion starts, nobody is running with Concepcion. So that's an immediate clue that you're looking at a zone. And as KC gets to his spot, you're going to see the cornerback down here at the bottom of the screen start to gain depth. Right there. And so now you're thinking, okay, this is zone, this is cover 3. So those two corners are both going to bail out and play 3 high structure at the top of the defense. So you're going to get cover 3. Stanford played a lot of cover 3 in this game, so not a huge surprise. So that's what you're expecting if you're the quarterback. And then you get this saw blitz look pre-snap as well. So both linebackers walked up to the edge, looking like a 5-man pressure there. So this is interesting. If that pressure is to come, then you're going to get a 3-over-3, cover 3, and that would put this defender as responsible for a large area over here. And we'll look at why that's not great for Stanford in a second. But the look actually changes. So Stanford is trying to confuse Bailey here. So you're going to get that look early, and then you're going to get a bailout from this guy, a bailout from this guy. This guy's going to blitz, and then this guy's going to play hook zone. This guy's going to play flat zone, and then this guy right here is your field side hook defender, and this guy right here is going to be your flat defender on the boundary side. So that's all important because that's going to play into what Bailey sees and how he processes this concept. So what is the concept? So I called this smash flood. The smash concept is really, really popular, 2-route combination. You're going to get, this is Noah Rogers down here. You're going to get a corner route from Noah Rogers, and you're going to get either a flat route or a hitch route from Concepcion here. So in this case, it's more of a hitch. You may hear this called a flat 7 concept. It's more or less the same thing. The idea is to stack routes on top and underneath the defender that's responsible for this area of the field. So you're high-lowing that defender, right? You got a high route and a low route, and he basically has to pick, and that's how you read that out. So if that defender comes down and sits on KC's hitch, there should be a throwing window behind to Rogers, and if he gains depth to cut off that window, you should be able to throw the ball to Concepcion. So that is your concept. That is your smash concept. And then the flood aspect of this is Justin Jolie on the other side running across into the same area. And so you talk about your hook defender, which in this case is going to be this guy who's going to be responsible for this part of the field. He's not going to have a player immediately. He's not going to have a responsibility in that area of the field immediately. So you may have heard the phrase find work with regard to zone defense. Sometimes when you get a smash concept and the defense identifies it, you'll get this player working further over this way to try and squeeze the window down to that corner route. And in the event that that happens, the crossing route from Jolie breaks into wide open space in the middle of the field. So that's the flood aspect of it, is adding that third route from the backside as a crossing route into what is hopefully the vacated space if that hook defender does widen and sink a little bit to try and squeeze down that corner route. Then you're going to get an alert fade from Dakari Collins. So this is not in the progression. This is a route that Bailey can throw if he gets kind of a press man look, cover 0, cover 1, and he likes the matchup. Collins is obviously a size mismatch, so they run that stuff a lot with him. Obviously, that is very obviously not the look pre-snap here. So that's not even something he's going to look at. And then Smothers in the backfield is just on a check release. And so if he has no pass rush pickup responsibility, no blitz pickup, he's just going to widen out here. And he's just going to be a check down. So that's going to be the concept. So let's take a look at how it develops. So you get the snap, you get the cornerbacks bailing immediately. Bailey is right away to this defender, right? He's on this. So he gets this flat defender bailing out here. So the flat defender, if the saw blitz had happened, would have had to come from very far away. So this hitch would have been wide open. Now when that blitzer bails out and picks up that flat responsibility, Bailey IDs that after the snap. And you can see right there, he's on it. Right, that defender is on KC. He's glued to him. That is not going to be there. So Bailey's eyes come up. They ran it just a hair too far. They actually just came off, but his eyes come up to this corner route. And if we can go back, try and go back here real quick and show it. So we'll run it again here. I want you to watch Rodgers. Right here. So that's Rodgers. So we'll watch that. He's going to run this corner route, and Bailey's eyes come off of that flat defender, and they come up to Bailey, and he's on it. And he doesn't like this picture. And so it's hard to see why, because this is mostly going to happen off the screen. But it looks to me like when this route breaks, this defender sits down, turns his body, and sits on it a little bit more. You can kind of see it right as he gets off the screen. Bailey doesn't like this picture. We've seen State run this in the past where that corner is getting a little bit more depth and the throw is open. That doesn't really happen in this case. And so that whole concept is dead. The picture is not good. So Bailey is going to come off of that right now. See his head turned right now to Justin Jolie. So he's on to number 2. This hook defender is going to get a little bit of extra depth and width over this way. It's not a ton. It's not super obvious, but he is going to widen a little bit. And, you know, it's not the perfect picture for this concept, but there is enough space right here. And Jolie is going to sit down in this zone, does a really good job finding the soft spot, sitting down in it. And Bailey does a great job reading this route, reading these concepts within the timing of the play, and is going to find Justin Jolie right here for a first down. So you did see that guy down there, number 8, kind of widen out a little bit more, open up that space a little bit. Ball's a little bit behind Jolie, not a great throw. Justin Jolie, excellent athlete, very wide catch radius, is able to make the catch anyway. But I just like this play because it's a good example of Bailey reading through a progression. It's not a pure progression. I would characterize a pure progression as, you know, route. This is kind of a, you know, a high-low concept with a secondary option and then a check down. But he did a good job working through this. We've seen them run this in the past with, I mentioned there's some better pictures, and he did not do a good job and ended up forcing the ball where it didn't need to go. But this was really solid job of, you know, getting your picture post-snap, IDing what's there, and then just working through the reads and finding an open player. So, you know, excellent job from the young quarterback, and just you're watching growth happen in real time, and that's really cool.